Hi, my witches and norms. How are we doing today? For all the mothers out there, happy late Mother's Day. And I just want to say kudos to you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. I just want to show appreciation. Just reach out to your mother. By the way, hi, my name is Moon Witch, where every Wednesdays I talk about of the witchery, including true crimes involving the witchcraft, paranormal, and also history of witches. With that being said, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe, and let's get straight to the video. Oh, I forgot to add a disclaimer. Warning, there's going to be strong language, images that might disrupt the viewer. Viewer's discretion is advised. Let's get back to the video. This week's video is about Joshua Bennett, who was during a crossfire trying to save his mother because of a hex. Yeah, a hex. I was watching Peacock. I don't know if you guys watch Snap. You remember the show Snap where they talk about like people who do murders? Basically, Snap is from Oxygen back in the days where Bad Girls Club and stuff, used to be. Snap was a TV show about people who murdered people, and Snap. Obviously, it sounds like in the title, but I said, "Oh my God, like no one's talked about this." So I thought I should talk about it. And I will leave everything in the link description box below for you to check it out. The stories, like articles and all the good stuff. A little backstory about Joshua Bennett. He enrolled in the army right after high school because it was one of his passions. Like his family and friends said that he was always wanting to join the army. Within the summer of 2005, Joshua Bennett, right after he finished training, military personnel came and told Josh that his father Jerry had passed away. Now his mother Jacqueline Bennett, she was living in Claremont, Illinois. We'll get to that later. Now family and friends said that his mother and his dad separated when he was just a boy. And at that time when Jerry was alive, Josh was living with his dad because the dad was more stable. The dad was financially, he was good. And I don't know what the mother was doing. They never said it, but I'm pretty sure she went to go live with somebody else or she cheated. I don't know. The one main thing though that I have to mention is that Josh was so upset that his father had passed away and he had to hear from somebody at the army or from the army. And so he went back to his hometown, Mattoon. Fast forward just a little bit. He went back to his hometown, Mattoon, where his girlfriend, Jamie Hopper Talbert, convinced him to go see his mother just to console her, to make sure she was doing okay, so and so and so. She usually goes with him to Claremont, Illinois to go visit the mother, whether of barbecue, whether of a little party, get together, just a little drinking. I don't know what they do. But in his mind, he was kind of skeptical. Like a part of him shouldn't want to go. Where I was like, oh, he should have never left. He should have just stayed. And this is why you should make your own decision. You should always trust your own gut. If your stomach is telling you not to go somewhere or not to do something, don't do it. If you have to question something the second time, or if you have to question something, it's a no. We're going to fast forward, right, to August 22, 2005, where he went to go visit his mother. Jacqueline Bennett was living with her boyfriend or fiance, Lee Jackson, and including in the home was also Lee Jackson's son, Jackie Jackson, and his 16 or 17-year-old pregnant girlfriend named Lindsay Kersinger. Now, mark that down. Remember that name because it's going to come back full circle. So keep that in mind. Keep her name in mind. Lindsay Kersinger. Okay? She's connected to the reason why we're here today to talk about it. Now, after he got settled in, visiting the mom, blah, 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 spending the night, so and so and so, they were having dinner that exact night. Picture family and friends having fun, ha 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 ha, dinner on the table. And Joshua was on the phone like, hey, babe, I'm about to have dinner. What you doing? So and so and so. And she was probably like, babe, enjoy time with your family, because you're going to need it. Well, girl, Jamie was like, I got an impression that was going to be, we're going to talk the next day, but I guess not. They never got to talk because, Fast forward to August 22, 2005, Joshua Bennett went to go visit his mother in Illinois' Claremont, where it was said there was no crimes, nothing ever happened. Cute little community in the western town. Not here, not in Clovis. Because a couple of weeks ago, a girl, she was in middle school, she was hit in the head with a hammer. Supposedly by her friend. A lot of things been happening here. It's getting serious. But off topic, do you guys like my hair? I decided to go for that Betty Page look and, cut my bangs. Cute. So, On August 23rd, 2005, the morning of, remember, because that night they were having dinner, Lee Jackson, the dad, went to work, and because he was working overnight or so he wasn't there at the time. Everybody went to sleep, and soon all you heard was dogs barking, da 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 da, right? So two intruders went through the window. It was very uncommon for people to unlock their windows. Now, it was said that in Claremont, Illinois, there was never crimes in his community, right? So I'm pretty sure they felt safe. They didn't have to lock the doors. They should have locked the window. I lock my windows, but some people don't. I don't know, maybe. But in that town, I guess there was no crime. So why would they lock the window, right? Two intruders climbed through the kitchen window, holding pepper sprays and a knife, while they were also wearing ski masks. Yeah, I'm gonna lock my window now. Lock your windows. Jacqueline, the mother, heard noises coming from the kitchen because she wanted to see what the commotion was all about. So she walked in, and as she did, one of the intruders stabbed her in the neck and abdomen. But during the investigation, it was said she was sequentially stabbed 3 times. Now, Joshua heard his mother scream, so he ran to the kitchen, and when he pushed her out the way, another intruder stabbed him in the chest and stomach, and he fell to the floor. Obviously, the only one that was in the house was Jacqueline, the mom, Jackie, the mom's boyfriend's son, Joshua, who was the mom's real son, and Lindsay Kersinger, who was the girlfriend of Jackie Jackson. Jackie, he was staying in the basement downstairs, and he heard all the commotion too, so he told his girlfriend, Lindsay Kersinger, to run to the neighbors and call the cops. Jackie ran upstairs with a shotgun, and he hit one of the guy right in the face, so he fell to the floor. The other one came and was like, oh, he got a gun, so he ran to go get the gun. So they were fighting, whatever. They were fighting for the gun, right? Because he came to try to grab for the gun, and I guess somehow he got stabbed in the leg, and then Jackie pushed him down the basement, and then the other intruder came and tried to get the gun too. So when they were fighting for the gun, I guess it disarmed and it shot him in the stomach, and that intruder fell to the ground. The second intruder, he ran off somewhere. Now, Lindsay, remember Lindsay? She ran to the neighbor's house, and when she called the cops, her and the neighbor came to the house, and they saw the intruder, the one that got stabbed in the leg, and he ran off, cornfield or whatever, because they were living in a small town. Deputy Robert Blythe was on his last shift, and he was getting ready to go home. He overheard the dispatcher say, there's a woman hysterically screaming, saying someone's been stabbed at their house. So Robert decided to take the case, and he drove over there to the house, and when he got there, Lindsay Kersinger ran towards the cops saying, someone's been stabbed, someone's been stabbed. So Robert, the deputy, he decided to go check it out. He walked to the house, and as soon as he got there, he saw the body laying on the floor to the left, and he saw the intruder on the floor too, crawling towards the door where the deputy was at. And then he saw Jackie in the back with the shotgun, and Jackie, and I quote, I shot him, Rob, I shot him. Robert, the deputy, was like, oh my God, this is a whole mess. So he called the EMT or the ambulance. And right after all this incident that was happening, Robert Blythe, the deputy, decided to put an ABP out for the other intruder, the one that ran through the cornfield. The Lindsay, the girlfriend of Jackie, and the neighbor was trying to resuscitate Joshua, but unfortunately he died at the crime scene. Poor thing, he was just trying to save his mom. He was in the army, and his father passed away, and he decided to come see his mother to reconsole. He saved his mother's life, but it costed his. Poor thing. Right afterwards, Jacqueline was transported by helicopter to a nearby hospital, while the intruder that was shot in the stomach was driven in the paramedic van. And two detectives, John Waggle and Kelly Henby, oh, that hurt in my head. Kelly Henby followed the paramedic van to question the intruder. Detective Waggle and Detective Henby decided to go talk to the intruder, and when they got there, he was laying in bed with an oxygen mask on. So Detective Henby took it off and said, what is your name? And he said, my name is David Linder. And when they asked him what was the reason why for committing this crime, and they also asked for the second intruder name, and all he gave to the detective was the second intruder name was Ricky. So the detective was like, yes, we finally got names, but they still needed answers why for this crime. And when they asked David Linder, he told them, and witches, get this, it's because of a hex. Yep. And I quote, the lady at the house put a hex on us and we had to kill her over a hex. Obviously, hearing that, the detective was like, well, what? They've been in this profession so long that they've never heard of a crime involving, hex, let alone curses and stuff. So they were still shocked. They needed answers. So they decided to go talk to Jacqueline, who was also in serious condition but stable. So they decided to go talk to Jackie and they're like, hey, do you know this guy named David Linder? And she was like, no, why? Well, the detective explained to her, but before the detective explained the reason why, they also told her that her son, Joshua Bennett, died at the crime scene after saving her. She was in distraught. She was in despair. Of course, she was crying because that was her son, you know? So where's the second intruder? And now that we know that his name is Ricky, obviously they're gonna be looking for him, right? A couple hours later, at 8 o'clock in the morning, they were looking for Ricky. And remember when Deputy Robert Blythe put out an ABP, a hospital, Lawrence Memorial Hospital, called the detective and gave him a tip that a 38-year-old gentleman came to this hospital coming to get a leg treatment. And when the doctor asked him why, he didn't want to answer. Detective John Waggle decided to go to the Memorial Hospital and check it out for himself. When he got there, a 38-year-old gentleman was walking out of the hospital limping. As he was limping, the detective was like, well, why are you limping? And let's talk to him. This fool. He said, I came out here to get some fresh air. But the detective knew he was lying. But he was like, okay, let me see your ID. And he gave his ID to the detective and it read Oscar Eck. So who's Oscar Eck? I thought we were looking for Ricky. Oscar had an initial middle name with an R. And it says Richard. Funny part is, this fool threw himself under the bus. Okay, he got caught on his own because he said, oh, by the way, everybody calls me Ricky. And the detective said, pew, 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 pew. Dong, dong, alert, red alert. Got him. Back to the story. After telling the detective his name was Ricky, he told the detective Waggle, said he's going to go back into the hospital to get treatment for his leg. So he pulled up his leg, the right leg. Was it the left leg or the right leg? He pulled up his pants and all he saw was like blood dripping down and his white socks were soaked up. When the detective asked him, well, how did you get this wound or how did this happen? Ricky explained that he was working on a drywall at work. Lies, I tell you, lies. I plead the fifth. As Detective John Waggle was asking Ricky questions, two girls showed up whose names was Irenia Cotner and Jenny Wolf walked up to check up on Oscar. Now, they were waiting in the parking lot because they came to drop off Oscar to get his wound checked. And they wanted to see why he was taking so long, like, oh, why are you taking forever? One thing that the detective noted was that they were kind of nervous. And with Irenia Cotner, she was more than nervous. She was giving off like guilty vibes. She was like not making eye contact. She kept on looking away. She kept on looking at the ground. I don't know, whatever she was thinking of. So the detective knew something was up and he asked all three of them to go downtown to the police station. Fast forward to downtown. At the police department, Detective Waggle and Detective Henby was questioning Jenny Wolf and Irenia Cotner if they knew anything of it. Now, Jenny was a good liar. She was telling them what they wanted to hear, but she never told anything of the crime, right? She was just like, no, I don't know nothing about it. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here to help you. But they believed her. With Irenia, again, she was very like skeptical. She was more like, no, I don't know nothing. What are you guys talking about? What crime? What hex? What do you mean? What? Girl, if she was gonna do the, what is it called, lie detector? If she was gonna do a lie detecting thing, she would have failed because, girl, your heart was tuk, 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 tuk. Big ol' liar. Again, tuk, 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 tuk. Now, without unanswered question, they couldn't keep them there because they had no probable cause, so they let them go. Well, remember how Oscar or Ricky was in the hospital? They decided to go check out his place. There was a roommate by the name Misty Gandalf. I know, cute name, right? Misty. Opened the door and they were like, hey, can I come in? And she was like, sure, come on in, Misty. Okay, Misty. It's very misty out here. Question Misty, like, hey, do you know why we're here? And Misty was like, no. Like, what are you doing at my house? Do you know why Oscar's in the hospital? Did you hear about this crime? Da 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 da. And Misty was like, no, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So they say, can we come in? They came in. They sat down on the couch, and the detective also asked, like, do you know Irina? Do you know um Jenny? And she was like, yeah, we work at Walmart. Walmart, good old Walmart. You know Walmart. Hi, can I see the receipt? Why do they look at our receipts? Do you guys know why they look at our receipts? I always wondered why. Yeah, I'm not stealing. I am not ashamed or whatever to like give them the receipt, but sometimes it's like, dude, I just want to go. Matter of fact, here is the receipt. Keep it because you want to look at it. I gotta go to the car. It's hot because I'm in Clovis right now and it is hot. It's about 94 degrees. If you hear the zzz in the background, it's because I have the AC on. So hopefully you don't hear it. Can you hear it? Obviously, one of the detective, I forgot who it was. I'll put a picture here. He was being nosy, so he was looking around. It looked normal, like it was a cute little house, like cute table. I don't know, like normal houses, whatever. Well, he decided to look on the table that they were sitting. It was on this couch, and the detective was on these couches right here. Detective looked over and he saw like the little coffee table in front of them, and he saw books of literature or books of witchcraft, like occult. And he was like, ah, she knows something she doesn't want to tell us. So they asked her to go with them to the police department downtown as well. And this is where we get to all the explanation. I am so sorry it took forever, but I had to explain the little backstory of how we are getting to the main point. And this is where it's at. So, witches, I'm sorry for stirring up the cauldron, but you know how spell goes. Now let's get into the most important details. She blew the cover. She snitched on all of them. She gave them everything like a cookbook ingredient spell book that it needed. The way I said it, book. Downtown at the police department, they were questioning Misty of how did you guys, come together or how did you guys get to know each other? Misty was like, well, we had a lot in common. We practice witchcraft. We believe in the occult, and that's how we got together. It was said that Ginny looked up to Irina as the mother. Irina was like 30 something years old, so she was like the mother figure to them. And basically, she manipulated them, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. Now, Ginny lives with Irina because backstory for Ginny, her and her mother was having this, tiff and this and this and that. So she was like homeless and stuff. So Ginny met her at Walmart and they got to know each other with Irina, and then Irina took her in and now they live together. Right? Back to the story. So first they start off doing little spells, like little magically little charm bags and little, to burn candle. Witchcraft stuff. The little things that they did was like, burning sages around the house, using crystals, and then like little charms and talismans. So the detective was like, oh, these bitches are in a coven. Misty was like, we are a coven. And the detective was like, oh, okay, the witchcraft is playing in. I'm starting to get what's going on, right? Do you practice witchcraft? For me, I practice witchcraft, but I'm not doing what they're doing. This is not related to witchcraft, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just because they practice witchcraft and I practice witchcraft, that does not mean we are in the same uh thing. We do not practice the same religion because obviously they're witchcraft, they're about to hurt somebody. You get what I'm trying to say. You guys are wondering why, like, what does this have to do with the crime? Like the girls, da 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 da, right? So, come to find out, Jackie Jackson, who was like 19, turning 20, he was dating Irina, who was 30 something at the time. So, a little backstory for this. Jackie Jackson was about 19 to 20, and Irina was 30, and she was dating Jackie Jackson. Remember the guy who shot the intruder? If you The relationship was said it was hot and spicy. It was very, passionate love. They were always doing the nasties. And so Jackie broke up with Irina and she was so upset because she found out that he got with a 16-year-old girl and she was pregnant. So it was jealousy. She needed to do something. She needed to break them up. She needed to cause this misfit. So she did just that. Well, remember how I said it was like they were doing little charms, little spells, little things like that. Well, one day it turned dark. Misty said that she was having fun. They were just being witches, like how covens are, right? They also did candlelit seance. Well, if you don't know what a candlelit seance is, when you guys all join hands, sit in a circle, and then one of the reader or the candle flame reader will light a candle, and they will watch the candle dance. Whatever the candle dance, like let's say it swing to the left or to the right, it was a yes or a no. It depends on how you interpret it. For me, I don't know how to do candle reading. I usually just light the candle and pew, magic. But yeah, it did a dark turn. And one night, I guess Irina met Oscar, because Oscar was very into like Harry Potter. He was a grown man, okay? He was like 30 years old watching Harry Potter and stuff, which is fine, which is fine. But he believed that like magic was very Hollywood, like sprinkles and like, I don't know, you can see the blue glitters and stuff like that, like charm, like the effect. So he was friends with Misty, and Misty introduced him to the rest of the crew. And this is where he was like, oh my God, I want to be a warlock or a witch. But some people call himself warlock, which is okay. But technically, it's just a witch. The term is witch, because it's non gender. But some people, like males, they will feel better if they call themselves a warlock. Well, it finally made a dark turn between April and August of 2005. Rena told them during a candlelit seance that they were all cursed. During the trial, Oscar stated that Irina said she was getting the messages from God and Satan themselves. And obviously, she was so convincing, she made them believe that it was true, because Misty started getting little headaches, right? She was like, oh my God, I'm getting migraines, I'm getting a headache. And Irina was like, girl, you're cursed. You were cursed. I told you it's true, you're cursed. You was cursed. Not to mention, Irina even said, my 6 dog just died. See, we're cursed. We're all cursed. Convincing them. And they believed it, convincing them. So the group was like, oh my God, so how do we get rid of this curse? And this is where she got them. They had another seance, candles. Think of, okay, so in my mind, so picture this. They're all sitting in a dark room, right? In a dark room, in a circle, holding hands, so, or maybe they weren't holding hands, I don't know. Holding hands, da da da, dark room, candle in the middle, incense burning, very dark aesthetic. And Irina sat there and said, Spirit, how do we get rid of this curse? And everybody was, I'm pretty sure the Oscar was like, this is real, this is magic. Misty was like, oh my God, I have a headache. We need to get rid of the curse. And Ginny, obviously, she was like the daughter for Irina. So she was like, my mother's doing magic. I can't believe that this is crazy. I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but that's what I'm just assuming. So they were sitting there, and Irina goes, I got it. The spirit said we have to kill Lindsay Kersinger because she put a curse on us. The only way for you to get rid of this curse, the spirit said, and I quote, we have to kill Lindsay Kersinger and her baby, and then we have to take her bra and go to a crossroad and cast a spell and sacrifice the bra. And I quote, girl, what the actual? So what about David? Remember the intruder who got shot in the stomach after, convincing them that they were cursed? She convinced Oscar to bring in another guy. Well, Oscar brought in David, who proclaimed that he was a warlock in all these Facebook or Reddit groups that they were talking about. I don't know what group it was, but I know it was like a group. Should we say Ricky or Oscar? Oscar introduced David to Irene, and he was like, oh yeah, she's a witch. This is a coven. I want to join a coven. And Irina was like, yep, this is the guy that is gonna do all my bidding. So what happened, right? So Misty was like, I can't do this. I'm not a part of this. So Misty left the coven. She was like, I'm good. I'm not gonna hurt nobody. This, like, dude, we were all about casting spells and magic. Why are we gonna sacrifice or kill somebody? Like, what the actual F? Right? So she left the group. Now Ginny, she was still a part of the group, but she had her speculation too. She was like, I can't, because in the trial, she was like, she didn't want to be a part of it. But obviously, she believed or loved Irina so much. What is it? Stockholm syndrome? Even though it wasn't a kidnapper, but Irene made her believe that, she was the one like a god, like I guess like a cult leader kind of thing. Now we're gonna get to the crime, like the plan, like the actual plan. Speaking of, they done multiple. They will always the first plan was they bought a gun and they decided to, grab a pillow. They went up the hill, like out of town, and they grabbed a pillow. They used the gun and they shot it through the pillow to see if it made noise. And that was the first, plan. On August 22nd, 2005, remember when they were having dinner before they were going to sleep? Well, Oscar, David, and Irina was having their own dinner, but it wasn't eating. It was the official plan. Irene had David and Oscar come to the house. They had one last seance, remember? Again, picture them, dark room. But it was just David and Oscar and Irina. Candlelit, sit in the middle. And they all hold hands, close their eyes. And Irina said, "The spirit has spoken that you have to kill Lindsay Kersinger tonight before the candle lights out, or you and your family will be cursed."
The spirit has spoken!
Sorry. This is a stupid part. Irene was like, "I'm not going to go with you guys, but I'm sending 5 sub-demons to protect you on your journey, that no one will get in your way, that you will not be hurt. They will be hurt. The demons will protect you at all costs. But you have to do this before the candle lights out, or you're all going to get hurt and your family too." Yeah, they believed her because they went. Right after the seance, David and Oscar drove by the Jackson residence to see if Lindsay Kersinger were home, and it showed sign that they were there. So after that, they proceeded to go to a 24/7 hour Walmart where they started shopping. All this evidence, the detective finally had something on Jenny Wolf and Irina Cotner, so they brought them in. Now, Jenny, she was cooperating. She was like, "Yeah, so-and-so, da-da-da." But Irina, she didn't want to tell them nothing. Again, she was, trying to play like she didn't know shit. After 10 minutes in, she finally spilled the bean. And I quote, she said, "I wanted to kill her and her baby." And I quote, "She did all this because of jealousy, because she wanted her man back. But he got a girl pregnant, and she was mad that she was a younger girl, that he left her for a younger girl and she couldn't handle it. And so she manipulated all these people." So after admitting the crime, Oscar Eck, Jenny Wolf, Irina Cotner, Missy Gangloff, and David Linder all charged with first-degree murder and home invasion. But David Linder, before he can face his justice, he died at the age of 30 on March 2006. So he never got his prison time. Not to mention, right after, when he was fighting for his life at the hospital, he also had a coma. He fell into a coma. In July 2007, Oscar Eck pleaded 1 count in first-degree murder, and he will be out in 2027. We are in 2024. He's about to be out in 3 years. While Josh Bennett, he gone. For Jenny Wolf, she went on trial in April 2008. Now, during the trial too, not to mention, she tried to curse one of the detectives because they were catching on to her. She was charged with first-degree murder, home invasion, and conspiracy to commit murder. She was sentenced to 32 years, and she will be out in 2040. Again, these people deserve to stay longer for the crime that they committed. Missy Gangloff, she was sentenced to 7 years in prison for conspiracy to commit murder, even though she was never part of it. She knew, but she didn't say nothing. In June 2006, Missy Gangloff was sentenced to prison for 7 years for pleading guilty to conspiracy of committing murder. And she will be released in 2003. No. And she will be released in 2013. I'm kind of like on a tiff here because I don't know whether she deserved the full sentence. She's already out now because we are in 2024. Do you guys think that she deserved to get a longer sentence? Remember, she knew of the crime, but she didn't say anything. But she also didn't commit the crime. Listen, they all deserve the full sentence. Well, for Missy, she deserves some sentence because she didn't say anything, but she didn't commit the murder. Once she knew the crime was about to kill somebody, she was like, no, she wanted out. I don't know if she deserved the full sentence, but 7 years sounds about right to me. Now for Irina Cotner, the leader the cult leader, let's call it a cult. That's what it was. It wasn't a coven. It wasn't a cult. For the cult leader, Irenia, she was found guilty of one count of first-degree murder, conspiracy of first-degree murder, home invasion, and she was sentenced to 57 years to prison, where she will be eligible for parole in 2063, and she will be at the age of 93. Do not let them out. I'm telling you guys now, do not let them out, because Josh Bennett, who was going to the army, went to go see his mother, saved her life, and ended up dying because of a curse. What the How? He wasn't even involved in the crime, but he happened to be in the crossfire. This story, I'm sorry, you guys, if I was running around, but there was just so much I had to say. Like, it was, I had to add all the details in, just in case, but poor thing. And that, my witches, is a witchy true crime of Josh Bennett, who was involved in a crossfire because of a hex that costed his life. Yeah? Poor thing. Don't let them people out. Don't let them out. Besides Misty, she deserved that 7 years because she basically wasn't a part of it, but she knew she should have said something. But Irenia Cotner, Oscar Eck, Jenny Wolf, but David Linder, he already passed away. The rest of them deserve the full sentence, to be honest. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that Misty should have never got prison time, or do you think she deserved more time? But I just feel bad for everybody else, like Jackie, the mom, um, the girlfriend, the dad. I just feel bad because Josh Bennett will never live to see the day. While the rest of them are about to get out, and one of them are being eligible for parole in 2063, Josh Bennett's in a grave right now. No disrespect. I don't want to sound insensitive here, but he won't even see the light of day anymore. You know? Well, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I get it that it was a lot of run around, but I had to add in the details. I had to. And if the video seemed choppy, I apologize, but when I tell you I needed to add every little detail in to this Witchy True Crimes of Witchy Wednesday, I had to. Well, blessed be my witches and Wiccan. Be careful out there. People are crazy. Call the motherfucking cops. Blessed be my witches and norms. Oh, this story.